Hello and welcome to episode. Don't know what number it is. We don't number these episodes, do we? This is the podcast.
Episode non-E3 special.
Non-E3 special. We don't number these ones, so this is a non-E3 special for 2023. Steve, you've had a week. We'll get to your week in a bit. Then we'll go into what we've covered, what we're going to cover in today's show. But yeah, so Steve, yes, over to you to do this little story. Then we'll get into the non-E3 stuff.
So I haven't done 2 weeks worth of Friday night streams or videos because I ended up in fucking hospital.
Yep.
To make a very long story short, not last Tuesday, the Tuesday before it, had a bit of discomfort in my midsection. I'm like, that's weird. Whatever, it'll sort itself out. Shit always does.
Always does. Yep.
Yep.
the usual usual man response. That'll do it. That'll go. That'll pass.
Yep. Went to work uncomfortable, and it ended up getting more annoying as the day went on. And then the Thursday, I talked to the first aid officer at work, and I'm like, "What's this sore shit in here? What's going on?" She's like, "Get that shit checked out, eh?" I'm like, fuck, here we go." So I left home for work on Thursday morning. I didn't get home until 5 o'clock on Sunday because I ended up having my appendix out. That was a fun process because, ended up getting the scans and all that shit done on the Thursday. The Friday, it was fast from midnight and you'll go in. Yep, sweet. 6 o'clock Friday night, I'm told, yep, not going in. Fuck. So fast from midnight on Saturday. Okay, go in. Borderline have a panic attack on the fucking operating table before I go under. Wake up in the ICU, and then it's just a bunch of shit around it until I went home on 4 o'clock on the Sunday. So I had the last week just gone off work as recovery, and I'm off work again this coming week. But yeah, there's bits and pieces I need to do work-wise from home, which I can do fairly easily, so that's not a problem. But I have not played Street Fighter. Getting a bit, yeah.
Withdrawal symptoms.
But yeah, it's been fucking bullshit.
Yeah, that's the kind of life stuff that it's just irritating. I actually had it.
Yeah.
I didn't have my appendix out. I didn't get that bad, but I was in Sydney for a work conference on my own. Just going back probably close to a decade now. And I sort of similar to you. Woke up in the morning, really odd pain or something. Oh, that's a bit more than normal. It'll pass, like you thought. Wake up a bit later, going, oh, this is actually kind of really bad. I ended up going to one of the local GPs there. I had kidney stones.
There you go. That's what they thought it might have been for me. They were running blood tests this might be kidney stones. I'm like, oh, fuck, here we go.
Yeah.
But then they had to do a contrast CT. And they're like, yeah, no, this bitch coming out. I'm like, okay, sweet. Are we doing it tonight? No, the OR's closed. Fuck.
Yeah,
So, yes.
But
whole bunch of bullshit around that.
But the health system seemed to do its job. That's cool. Give it credit.
I didn't have to pay for nothing.
That's benefit of the Australian system. You didn't have to pay for any of it.
I'm sitting there going, fuck, how much of this am I going to have to pay for?
No,
a friend of mine's like, don't worry about it. It's all covered. Sweet.
Yeah. It's all covered by our pretty damn good service, actually. It must be said. So we might maybe dig into that in our next proper podcast. But let's dive into there's about 8 or 9 quote unquote stroke cases of various types across the last week or so. That's way too much for us to cover in one show. Even 2 shows would be too much to cover. We're going to look at 3 specific ones. The Keeley show on the first one kicked it off. Summer Game Fest show 2023. Then you look at the Xbox showcase. Not so much the Starfield one, although you probably may have looked at that. I've not looked at that. I've only sort of seen bits and pieces of it. We'll also look at the Ubisoft Forward, which was the big 3 we're going to look at. And if there's anything else that covers in the other half dozen or so that we might look at those. But I think we were talking earlier, there's not a lot that really took our eye per se. I was sort of glad about some of the release dates for some bits and pieces, but that's really all I sort of took out of a bunch of those shows. But
There are a couple of cool little things in there, but like how much of it actually jumps out and strikes me, I can't really remember.
yeah,
I'd
that's
have to go like to my Steam wish list and order it by order by when I added them.
added it, yeah, sort of thing, yeah. So I'm going to try and do a. We're going to try and embed the web page that we're using for these discussions in the video here. So let's do a barn door. Oh, look at that.
Ironically enough, I didn't even see the transition because I was looking at trying to figure out my Steam wish list. It's like what shit was there that was actually like worthwhile talking about, which I'll get to a bit later. But okay.
So yeah, so we're using IGN is the article we're using for the Summer Games Fest.
This isn't in order.
This is in order. This is in order that they came in. We're trying to find a article that does everything announced rather than what someone thinks is the best things, because we can just ignore what we don't care about. So we'll get past the first one because I don't care about Final Fantasy, so we'll do that. Is this
2 discs.
Is this in order of when it was announced? I think it is, isn't it?
That's what I was just saying. It's not in order of announcement, which is a
okay.
fucking annoyance.
Yeah, that's
because Final Fantasy Rebirth is literally the last thing of the show.
Fair enough. Okay. We've got a Spider-Man 2 release date. Moving on. Not much else more to look at that. This is an interesting one. That came a bit out of left field. Is this the Is this the reboot of? Is this the thing? This is a new project. Okay, so the Prince of Persia. Yes. This is a sort of a 2D. Metroidvania anime style, from what I've heard, anime inspired. I think I've heard as well. Looked really good in motion when you get to. If you go, I'm not going to play any videos in this. I must have a word it because I don't really do anything. I don't want to get weird attacks or anything stupid from bloody some DMCA person. But this looks really good in motion. It looks like in some cases just a fairly standard looking platformer, but then it sort of moves into sort of 3D kind of almost cutscene kind of things cutscene animations. So it's worth checking out the trailers if you haven't already done so. But that looks out of left field, but looks really kind of cool.
So it's not the Sands of Time reboot that they were doing. It's kind of a spin-off.
Yeah.
Kind of a prequel spin-off because the Prince of Persia has actually been kidnapped.
Okay.
You're playing as one of the... They get into this a little bit more in the Ubisoft thing, but you're playing one of the 7 quote-unquote immortals who are tasked with going to get the Prince of Persia back.
Okay. Yep.
But yeah, it looks really, really cool.
Yeah, it looks really good emotion.
And there's like a level of complexity to some of the combat and the traversal that does look really interesting as well.
Yeah. So that was a bit of a nice surprise out of that one, but
January 18th.
But yeah, that other one is still on its way at some point in the future, basically. But this is sort of like as you say, it's a spin-off that's going to come out in the interim before that one. If you assume that one does actually come out, but anyway.
Apparently running at 60 frames a second on the Switch.
No, that's impressive. I've managed to get that. Okay. Next up, I'm curious what you thought of this next one. This sort of...
Yo, this looked fucking dope.
Why is that just on that?
I don't know.
Do I have that? There we go. That's what I was after. Mortal Kombat. So this is a reboot of the first one?
This was fucking awesome.
Okay.
Hey?
Reboot of the first one? Reboot of the franchise? Bit of both.
So, the story of Mortal Kombat 11, which obviously the last 2 Fridays, like I said, I haven't done Friday Night Fight Night and I'm kicking old school. The Mortal Kombat 11 story actually ends in a place of where they could do a whole bunch of stuff. And what they did was go back and basically, for lack of a better term, it's a reboot plus a sequel.
Oh, okay.
Because Raiden gives up his... Spoilers for Mortal Kombat 11, but I'm going to be playing through it on Fridays in the future, so whatever. Raiden gives up his god powers to Liu Kang, so he could become Fire God Liu Kang, so that Liu Kang could beat Kronika. Kronika got beaten, and then Liu Kang's like, all right, let's rebuild the timelines, and let's get it all back and all squared.
Okay.
So that's basically the setup for how this... So it's both a reboot and a sequel.
Yeah, okay. Yep, okay. Should see if they
this thing looks fucking awesome.
Okay, cool.
The combos in the trailer like freak me out, but like watching some direct gameplay footage, yeah, and like the X-rays look fucking like brutal. I like the assist characters. It's just an expansion of what they did in the towers.
So is this Nether Realm again? Still Nether Realm?
Yep.
Okay, so still the same.
Yep.
Same. Yeah, okay. Yep.
Yeah. Ed Boon came out on stage, talked a bit about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking for. I've pre-ordered this now.
So there's no date for this.
After this show and seeing some direct gameplay footage.
Okay. Yep.
I'm like, yo, yep, let's go.
Yeah, we've got a. I can't highlight it, but yeah, out later this year, but no date yet.
September. No, it's got a date.
It's got a date, has it? Okay, cool.
September something. Let me quickly check. I think it is September 20.
Okay. Yep. Next in this article, we have a crossover between Transformers and Fortnite. Don't care.
Who fucking cares?
This was another surprise, I think, was this Sonic announcement. Not saying it's necessarily a good surprise, but it was not necessarily sort of. But this
I don't know how to feel about this.
I think you can sort of do press a button and go old school look and come sort of nod and look. I think I saw it sort of inflated in the trailer, so not saying I'm going to play it, but I thought it was kind of interesting. Alan Wake got a big gameplay reveal. I'm not interested in Alan Wake that much, but this does look kind of really quite good in terms of
it
showed really well.
Very much solidified my interest.
Yeah, it's not a game. I'm not into this sort of survival horror stuff like this. I'm not really interested that much, but that's got another date. Just scroll down a bit further. You'll see the next October 17 date, which is good.
They look cool.
Keep clicking the wrong button. That started again. Keep clicking the wrong button. It keeps loading it again. Like a Dragon Gaiden is coming this November. There's another one of those spin-offs announced in the Xbox show as well. I think we'll get to that later. So that's got a date, November 9th. A lot of dates that a lot of fair people have got dates for this year, which is kind of good.
October's going to be pretty big.
Yeah, September's not going to be pretty packed as well. So,
although November's really quiet.
Yeah. So, Star Trek Infinite got announced. That's nothing this year, I don't believe, except we're going to see more of it in a couple of weeks, a couple of days' time, in fact. By the time this comes up, it may have even happened. So, not too sure what that's going to really be.
There is an Annapurna. There was I don't know if it's in this article. There's an Annapurna showcase at the end of June as well coming.
Okay, that could be good to keep an eye out for. John Carpenter's Toxic Commando. I don't really.
This was fucking weird.
Yeah, I don't recall seeing much of that around. I'm not going to.
It was basically there was a cover version of Bon Jovi's "Living on a Prayer," and they're all singing it, and they all get on machine guns and start shooting a bunch of zombies and shit, and I don't know what the fuck is going on. But it's fucking weird, and I don't know if I'm going to play it.
Yeah, a couple of games we don't particularly care about.
It's Akira Toriyama. I don't know, man. Look at that head. Look at that description for Power World. Power World is like Pokemon, but with guns. That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, that could be interesting. Yep.
That concept sounds pretty good. I'm not going to play it, but it sounds pretty good.
Lord of the Rings game of some description. I'm not actually 100%.
It's a survival sort of. Yeah,
one of the, okay.
It's like Minecraft.
Yeah, okay. More Final Fantasy stuff. Don't care.
I've watched this show at least twice now. 2 different watchovers of it. I cannot remember that thing coming up.
Okay, fair enough. You've watched more than me.
I can't remember saying anything about this. No, I think I can actually. It's a mobile game.
Oh, is it? Oh, fair enough. Okay, fair enough.
I think so, yeah. If it's the one I'm thinking of, it's a fucking, or at least it looked like a mobile phone version of Final Fantasy VII with some expanded shit. IGN really wants your data.
I think they put the cookies, this button right here, right next to the bloody button to go down the page, which is just irritating.
Oh, what a dick. They have 2!
So every time if I'm not looking at it, I'm just clicking on the wrong button thing, I'll get that instead, so I'll just use this in time. I don't know what that one is. Banishers, no idea.
It looked like the trailer. It's another Don't Nod's got like 4 or 5 things on the boil, which is really weird.
Okay.
But apparently it's an action RPG, which that could be cool.
Yeah.
But man, it really didn't show much of it in that video.
Well, that's sort of a bit of a theme of this particular show, and I think there wasn't a real lot
Most of these shows.
Most of these shows didn't have a lot of meat on the bones per se. So yeah. Apparently Jason Isaacs is in Baldur's Gate 3. I guess that'll be good. He's a good actor.
I'll take your word for it. I got no idea who that dude is.
He was in all the various Star Wars movies, the recent ones.
He was?
He was, yep.
Oh, we'll take your word for it.
I believe that was the case. Let me just double check that before I go committing to that.
I don't know. Right there it says he's best known for being in the Harry Potter movies, and I'm like, I haven't seen them. Fuck that.
Oh, okay. Jane. I'm sure he was in that. Unless I'm thinking of somebody else. It's entirely possible.
Always possible. Anything is possible.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is the one I'm not thinking of. The one I'm thinking of. Yeah, it isn't the wrong one. It isn't what I'm thinking of. It's somebody else. I was wrong. Twisted Metal's getting.
What a surprise!
Twisted Metal's getting a TV show on Peacock, which I think is at Amazon Prime in Australia. I think that's, if I recall.
No, Peacock's not on Amazon Prime. I don't think we actually get access to Peacock, or if we do, it's through Binge.
Oh, fair enough. Okay.
Which is the Rupert Murdoch streaming device.
Yeah.
Service.
Yeah.
Will Arnett voicing Sweet Tooth in that clip. AEW wrestler and Ring of Honor World Television Champion Samoa Joe is the body actor for Sweet Tooth there.
Oh, okay. I can. Fair enough.
It was kind of funny, but it's also like, Cisco. Samoa Joe presses a button on a remote, and then Cisco's thong song starts playing, and then they start singing it. It's really quite amusing.
Marvel Snap getting a
This fucking video made no motherfucking sense whatsoever because it just kept talking about moose.
Okay.
I'm like, what's going on?
So okay, so that's a competitive. It's like
Snap.
Okay, fair enough. So move on then. Modern Warfare got a season 4. Don't care.
So this is in place of a new Call of Duty. There isn't a Call of Duty game coming out this year.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I hadn't heard that.
They're taking a break with it.
Probably a good thing in reality.
But no Call of Duty, and then Path of Exile 2.
Yeah, like it's an interesting time to they're coming out in July, so they're like a month and a bit away. But like to sort of put this out in the middle, like just after Diablo 4's release, got to give them credit for it. But it's obviously it's a different game, probably different, maybe even a different market or player base potentially.
The thing that makes PoE really sort of unique is its massive skill tree.
Yeah.
It's borderline MMO.
Yeah, in that perspective for sure.
But like played from a sort of Diablo perspective.
Now you got into Exo Primal a bit when the demo came out a few weeks back.
I played the beta.
Played the beta. So they've now got a crossover with Street Fighter 6, which is very kind of weird.
This is fucking stupid.
So not sure that's just their characters are in the game. I don't think it's much more than that, is it?
It's just Ryu.
Okay, so it's not...
It's just a mechanized version of Ryu, and he threw a fireball. And it's like, yeah, that's cool.
Okay, fair enough. I thought it was okay, not more...
They're actually apparently taking some prompts from people who played the beta and said, yo, this PvP stuff, fuck this shit, let's just shoot dinosaurs. So apparently they're making that more of a focus. I don't know.
Okay, fair enough. Life of P was this one. I've just gone past the heading, I should say. Go back.
Go Life of P. It's out soon.
It's out in a couple of months, but there's a demo soon?
There's a demo on Steam. I have it installed. I have not played it yet.
No, fair enough. Okay. Whole Pinocchio Souls-like has got an interesting combination of words I would never expect to see on a screen, but there you go. Netflix Season 3, cool. Space Marine 2 reveals co-op, good for them. Now this is the other one.
Co-op.
This is the surprising one of the thing. One Nicolas Cage.
I like how you just go past Space Marine 2 and like, fuck that shit. I'm looking forward to Space Marine 2.
Okay.
It's a different studio that's taking on that game. It's not the same team that did the original.
Okay, fair enough.
Like the combat scenarios then are way more open and there's way more enemies on the screen and stuff like that. So hopefully it will be really, really good.
Okay. So it's coming with
But
three-player co-op.
yeah, a 3-player co-op. So Destiny,
Okay. Yep.
which I think played into one of the things that came out of the Xbox One. But yeah.
Okay.
But yes, Nicolas Cage being on stage was fucking great.
So comparing,
The only thing missing was him not saying "enjoy your gaming."
enjoy your gaming. So we've had we've had Keanu Reeves. Was that a Video Games Award
Yes.
or Summer Games Fest? I can't remember which one it was now.
That was, I think,
that might have been. That might have been.
No, that wasn't even Summer Games Fest. That was Microsoft. That was an Xbox.
I was too. Yeah, right. That was for Cyberpunk.
But they had Keanu on this too.
Oh, did they? What, both? Oh, okay.
They had Keanu on this stream, I think, because they did a Phantom Liberty, the DLC for Cyberpunk, on this stream off the top of my head.
Okay.
He sounded like he had cotton wool in his mouth.
Yeah, so basically Nicolas Cage is coming in as a character in Dead by Daylight. He's going to be a villain, I believe, if I recall something.
I think he's one of the mains. He's one of the survivor.
Yeah, he's just one of the characters. I don't think you get to play.
Which doesn't work because we don't have any idea of how Dead by Daylight works.
Yeah, because we know. Yes, Your Grace got a sequel.
I've never played Yes, Your
I think
Grace.
this game actually, this announcement was quite well received, I believe. I think that the first game was actually quite well received, so the sequel was well received as well. Which fight? I have no idea what this is. Sorry.
First-person shooter, with some apparently rogue-likey elements.
Vanishing
but
okay. Yeah, okay.
the first-person shooter part looks really cool. I'm hoping that the first-person shooter part. If it's not obvious what I made that reaction for. Remnant's out before the end of fucking July.
End of July, so it's about a month away from where's the recording, so that's cool. Procedure generated levels. Okay, that could be interesting. Okay. Immortals of Avium, which looks very like.
They brought the dude who played the main character on stage, and he talked for a little bit, and he was nowhere near as cool or as interesting as Nicolas Cage. No, I'm not sold on.
There aren't many people that are. There aren't that many people that are. So.
I'm not seriousness to it, and
like it seems like it's a medieval kind of fantasy thing. I'm not really sure the setting's going to work for me, but visually it looks interesting because of all the the pale effects.
It looks very pretty,
but I'm not so sure. Yeah, not so sure it's going to particularly. Yeah, not so sure. I think
it only works.
I think EA's their reputation now definitely precedes them with everything they try and do. So this could land like a thud like Anthem did, or it could be really good, but no one can really know because yeah. This one was interesting to me.
If you like Hexen or Heretic.
Oh, okay. Under the Waves was interesting. That's probably the one highlight for me out of this. Was here for this one. This is out in a couple of months, so it looks kind of more of an exploration game rather than lots of sort of combat-y stuff, but it looked really interesting. Black Desert Online got an expansion, which is interesting.
It is?
Yeah, it's been around for a long time, this game.
Yeah, it has been. It has been around for a while. And yet another Genshin Genshin game doing really well. Honkai Star Rail. Apparently people really like it.
Cool. Okay, this one I don't recall seeing anything about this game when it was.
This was shown in like a 30, 45 second ad type.
One of the sizzle reels at the end of the whole thing or something. Yeah, okay.
It looked really, really cool in that it sort of describes it there. Players can rewind time and create copies of themselves.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
So if you add that to the Hades vibe that this IGN article mentions, then that could be super interesting.
Okay.
Depends on how complicated and how far they want to push that.
Yeah, yep. We get a new sort of genre's been created. Cozy game is now sort of a thing. So this is another one of these ones, which is cool. Fighting Liberty, I think that's another MMO, some sort that's getting some sort of released or some sort of trailer. Party Animal, I vaguely recall what that is, but I don't really care.
What if Gang Beasts was Fall Guys?
Yeah, okay, and had animals of some description. Yeah, gotcha.
Yes.
And that's portion. What? Uh,
This was fucking stupid.
oh my god. Okay, didn't even realize that was a thing. Okay,
It was fucking dumb. It was
that
the
was
stupidest shit.
that was kind of yep. So
Oh, we forgot about the Capcom showcase.
maybe no, don't think we
Deservedly so, because they didn't really show much of interest.
So I thought it was when I woke up of the morning after this, I thought, oh, nothing really went. Wow, that's amazing for me. I don't know how you sort of saw it, but you might have. I don't know. When was this in the sequence of your events? Was this before it all happened? It was, wasn't it? I think.
This was. I woke up on the Friday, so this was the first day I was meant to be fasting.
Okay. This was the Friday morning.
So this was the Friday when I woke up, and it was in the air if I was going into surgery.
Okay.
So I watched this on my fucking phone.
Okay.
I downloaded the Twitch app so I could watch a talkover of it.
Okay.
There's really good. There was the first half was way stronger.
Okay, fair enough. I've not actually watched this yet. I've watched bits and pieces of some of the shows, but yeah, watching the shows wasn't a thing I wanted to do this year. I just didn't have the energy to do it. But so you've got a definitely more of a thought on the actual presentation itself, because I did not watch it.
It was fun. Like I said, the second half really didn't come with the things that I was interested in.
Okay, yep.
Like that Final Fantasy Rebirth, I couldn't give any less of a fuck about Final Fantasy than I already do.
Yep.
But like the Prince of Persia game, Mortal Kombat, and Alan Wake, those three games I'm really interested in. And some of the small, quote unquote, smaller stuff, which like Banishes doesn't look particularly small, but it's like Don't Nod's not a massive studio.
Yeah, but they're also not small either, so they're one of those middle ones sort of things, like triple I, whatever the term is these days, to sort of describe that smaller one.
And like Remnant 2 is a big one, obviously.
Yeah,
as is Space Marine 2.
Yeah, I think probably the highlight for me was probably the Prince of Persia game. I think if you get a chance, go look at that in motion. It does look really good.
Yep.
And that's out like early next year. Outside of that, nothing really said wow to me at all. There wasn't much to me at all in that sort of whole thing. Yeah, maybe the where was it? Lies of P, maybe. That's
a Souls-like. You're not going to get into that
yeah,
at all.
I might not, but it's new.
It's an interesting concept.
It's new. That's the thing. It's like it's a new property. Like we don't see a lot of those these days. So it's kind of that's from that perspective. It sort of stands out a little bit.
I'm so curious by how that Immortals of Avium lands.
Yeah, that's the thing I'm sort of most intrigued about. There isn't an EA event this like period of time, is there? Yeah, there isn't one. Okay. Yeah, nothing else really. I think I just was underwhelmed when I woke up the morning after this. Oh, that's all a bit yeah, very odd. I thought it was not particularly yeah, not much to it.
We'll get to it obviously when we get more to the end of these, but like you look at the PlayStation one, this one, Microsoft, Ubisoft, and the sort of cumulative the rest of the shows, it's all very it was fun. There's some cool stuff shown. There's also some stuff where I couldn't care.
Yeah, and that's every show's going to be like that, obviously. They're obviously subjected to what you like in terms of your games you're into.
This year is the most one of those, though.
Yeah, I've 100% agree with that. Yeah, for sure. I think we'll probably also get to at the end of this episode too. Is I think a lot of what we saw in all the shows, including the Sony one from a couple of weeks back, not a lot of gameplay, like actual gameplay. The PC one that we may touch on a bit, that had quite a bit of that in it. But in terms of these big showcases, not really a lot of that sort of stuff in it. The only one that's probably goes against that is the Starfield Direct. Had a crap load of gameplay in it because of its obviously that was its design. But
Ubisoft had a fair bit as well.
Okay. Outside of that,
for the games that mattered.
yeah, they've spent a fair bit of time on. We'll get to them. They're obviously in a bit, but like the the big games they focused on, they had a fair bit of gameplay on. Next up, we'll be looking at Microsoft. Let's see. I'll do Barn Door again. Oh, you missed it again. You weren't watching.
Oh no, I saw it this time. I
saw
saw it this time.
Oh, good.
I was only looking at the other screen, not at Steam.
Okay, fair enough. Okay. All right. So Xbox. This is the Eurogamer article. There's everything announced. I have no idea if it's in order. We'll find out soon enough because if
it is in order.
It is in order. Thank God. Good on them. This is one thing that they sort of. I don't know if this is my browser doing something weird, but all the YouTube sort of thumbnails just don't display. I don't know why that's the case, but
that's weird. That's a you thing because I've got them up on mine, but
okay. Yeah, that's not too sure what that's about. Not too sure what that's about. So yeah, it's in order. So first up was a like a cinematic trailer. Well, I'm not even sure what it was. Like a trailer of some sorts, a little thing of Fable, which is coming from Playground Games, the Modus Horizon devs.
The first non-Forza Horizon game from Playground, and it's got Richard Ayoade in it.
This was actually kind of cool. I actually like this little thing, but obviously I think it's just more. This is we're still here. Is that all? That's all this is designed to do. No release dates, no release window, no nothing. I think she's literally saying this game's still coming. Just bear with us, kind of thing.
There was still some curiosity over the tone of this and whether, because obviously like Lionhead developing the first 3 Fable games, a British developer, British sense of humor, all that sort of stuff. That's not Playground. Isn't that Playground's a North American developer who's done the Forza Horizon games?
No, they're based in the UK, aren't they?
Are they?
Yeah, they're based. I'm pretty sure they're based in the UK.
I don't know where they're based. I'm just guessing. But like nothing that had been said about Fable before this. I'm probably very much wrong on that front. Nothing that was said about Fable before this stream said anything about the tone, or if it did, it suggested it was going to be a much more serious, more deadpan, straight line tone.
That's nothing. That's completely against what I've heard. Oh. it was going to be that was they're a British game developer. It's going to have the humour of British because that's they're a British game developer. No, that's completely opposite of what I've heard about it.
Oh.
So, yeah, I'm not too sure where that's come from, but yeah, I've heard the complete opposite of that. So, because they're from a British game developer, they've got the humour, they've got that link. So,
I think there was just some uncertainty.
Well, there's definitely some uncertainty about what it was going to be because it's a new developer. That was definitely there for sure. But the fact that they're a British developer, they would be able to, theoretically, hook into the same kind of humour that the previous developers have. But where they stick the landing, that's completely unknown at this stage. But based on what that little trailer thing, I think it's in the right direction. It's promising.
It was good.
It was kind of
Richard Ayoade being the giant from Jack and the Beanstalk. He loves his vegetables.
Yeah, it's really quite good, and he's the kind of actor who could not develop. What's I'm looking for? God, what is the one I'm looking for? He could present that character really well. It's right up his alley kind of a thing in terms of what he's Next up, we had a new game called South of Midnight. This trailer was really, really cool. This is from Compulsion Games. These guys made We Happy Few 3 years ago now, I think it was. And before that, they put out a game called Contrast. They're a Microsoft-owned studio now. They got bought out maybe 18 months ago now. Can't remember when they bought out.
They got bought out pre-pandemic.
They put it. When was that long ago? Okay, fair enough.
The pandemic's really stretched time out.
So this game looks really cool to me. It's obviously it's a cinematic trailer to begin with. It's got a really neat art style to it. Got some really good music in it, so I think it's got a really good setting. Or has the potential to be a good setting, I should say. But no idea what game it is. No idea what you're doing in it. No idea. But it does set up a potential interesting sort of setting. Next up, we had the Star Wars Outlaws, which is coming in 2024. We'll get to this in more detail when we get to the Ubisoft presentation because they covered it in like a 10-minute demo, I think, or 10-minute trailer, I think, from maybe something like that. So we'll skip it based here. Thunder Lotus, they're the people behind Spiritfarer. They've got this new game out that is 33 Mortals, and it's a 33-player Hades-like sort of game. Like it's really pixel art. Looks kind of interesting concept. Not just something I'm going to play, but I'd be interested to see how that looks and plays when it comes out. Sometime in 2024, day one Game Pass. A lot of the games that are on this list are day one Game Pass for obvious reasons because of the Game Pass being the thing that Microsoft have. But even games that you wouldn't think would be, or are sort of on the edge of that, will be. One of those is the Payday 3, which got its release. Got a trailer out the 21st, if I can... No, it's not going to let me highlight it for some reason. No, the 21st. And Game Pass. So, did you ever play the Riesel Payday 1 or 2?
Nope.
I didn't. No, I didn't either. There's some potential to have some hijinks in that game, I believe. So, yeah, anyway.
Yes, but apparently anyone playing it has all the maps down to such a degree that if you go off the beaten path in any specific way, they'll just bounce.
Oh, okay. Okay, it's one of those. Okay.
Like it's sort of bought. I don't want to say hostile.
Yeah.
But there's a borderline hostility to new players and sort of fumbling and fucking around.
Maybe with a new game you can get into the ground floor and be okay at the beginning at least. Persona 3 Reloaded got its premiere and some sort of release window for 2024. Again, Game Pass. That's a tactics.
Yeah,
That's a
Atlas
game,
accidentally leaked that themselves.
I did. Oh, okay. That's a tactics game, isn't
They
it?
leaked that in one other game that came up in this show.
That's a tactics game, isn't it? If I recall.
Sorry, no. This is the tactics game is the other one.
Oh, the other
Persona
one. Okay.
3 Reload is literally just a remaster of Persona 3 or
Okay,
a remake
gotcha.
of Persona 3.
Okay, cool.
Sorry, yeah, I missed that. The tactics game is the Persona 5 Tactics. They announced a little bit later in this
A
show.
little later in the show. Okay, I'm getting confused. That's cool. Avowed is the new Obsidian game, which is again, I think, a little bit more of a yeah. We're still here, kind of a trailer,
Yes.
I think, from that one, from this perspective, because it's been a little bit silent for quite a while on that one. So, I think the game looks okay, but I still don't really know what you're necessarily doing moment to moment. Very similar to what about that EA one from the Summer Games Fest presentation. Not really sure.
My understanding is it's basically a smaller scale Skyrim.
Okay, fair enough. Yep. Next up was something I really liked. Sea of Thieves crossing over with Legend of Umber Island. This looks really cool. It looks a lot more sort of narrative driven than previous stuff in Sea of Thieves. I will probably jump back into Sea of Thieves with just for this bit of content alone, and then bail again like every other time something else new comes out. But yeah,
Apparently Ron Gilbert was not involved in this.
Not involved. Didn't know it was happening because he does not. I'm not too sure that's necessarily like. I don't know if they actually needed to do that because he's not part of the IP anymore. I don't believe, but I'm not too sure how that sort of works.
Lucas owns the IP.
Yeah.
But it just would have been nice. Hey, yo.
Yeah, it was a heads up. We're doing this, by the way. It would have been probably minimum, but yeah, it's interesting. But the reveal Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. I didn't think they were going to do one of these. If I'm honest, I thought they'd just keep adding stuff to the previous game, but they're sort of doing obviously the next game in the series, I guess. So interesting to see what they do with 2023's previous games. Whether they sort of drop support for it or drop the work on it, I'm not too sure. You can do more stuff in it. You can be a aerial firefighter and sort of crop duster and stuff like that. So it's really kind of an interesting kind of change to that one. The June, what is this? I don't know what this actually was. Oh,
it's the little flying bug thing from June they're putting into Flight Sim.
Crossover with that. Okay, very on.
Yep.
Again, I think this next one was the Senua's Sagas Hellblade 2. Again, I think this is another one. We're still doing stuff, kind of a thing. I think from a lot of the games because these games were announced pre-pandemic. Most of them. I think.
Wasn't this meant to be a launch game for the Series X?
No, never was. No.
Oh, I could have swore this was going to be a launch window.
I think people thought it might have been when it was announced, but I don't think it ever was going to be that.
I'm going to be honest. I've got no fucking interest in the Hellblade 2.
I think I do just to see what it's like. I didn't play the first one, but I like what Ninja Theory do, so I'm curious to see what it's like. I may not play it in the end, but I kind of have some interest in it, but yeah, I'm probably in the same sort of boat as you ultimately. This is the other Yakuza game I was thinking about, like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. This game, this trailer was really interesting.
Great fucking trailer.
Great trailer, I liked it. I'm not going to click on it here, obviously, but yeah, go check it out if you want to. Early 2024 for that one.
Take the dude from Yakuza 7, put him waking up naked on a beach in fucking Hawaii.
Yeah, Hawaii.
It's like, what the fuck? Oh, wait, mine's doing it now too.
Okay.
That's weird.
Fallout 76 gets a bit of an expansion, I believe, of this Atlantic City thing, I believe that's what that is. I have absolutely no idea what this next one is. What is this?
It is a game from Capcom, which has some Dynasty Warriors kind of vibe to it. Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess. It was a clusterfuck of just like color and Japanese culture and all sorts of shit just going all over the screen. No idea when it's coming out or anything. And Capcom literally ran the exact same trailer during the showcase.
Fair enough. Okay. Yeah, I'm just looking at the trailer. Just looking at YouTube. I've just clicked on that myself, and yeah, I can see it. Just I have no idea what that game is. Yeah, you're right. It's just
nothing in the trailer actually showed what that game is. I could have said there was a bit of a Neo vibe to it, but that doesn't mean that's actually going to be the case because it's set in like old school Japan. But
yeah, who knows that? I mean, it does look very colourful. Give it that much, but yeah, as you say, what you're doing moment to moment is not particularly clear. Although it's probably some sort of action character game, by the looks of it, I would think. Motorsport, probably one of the few games that they showed off that's actually coming out this year. Well, these big games at least. So, Forza Motorsport coming out on 10th of October. Game Pass as always. So I'll look at this. I'm not a big fan of the straight motorsport games, but I'll give them technical credit for sure. Because what these guys do generally leads into the technical part of Forza Horizon's game, so they sort of have a fair bit of crossover. Not too sure we're going to get another one of those games because of them making the Faber game. So this might be what we get for a bit of time anyway. So yeah, actually, I said technically it looks really good, but yeah, I'm not really into that sort of that particular motorsport. For some reason, this one's showing up. I don't know why this one shows up.
Same as mine.
I don't know what that's about, but anyway, expansion for Elder Scrolls stuff. Not really fussed. Overwatch 2 gets an expansion or gets some sort of extra content. Again,
this has some single player stuff, but it's not the single player stuff that they cut out.
I also read something headline that they're paying people got to pay for the story content now or something. Do you see that?
So the actual PvE stuff that they talked about for the whole of the Overwatch 2 pre-launch stuff, that pre-cycle, that's been all dropped.
Oh, okay.
The whole reason for doing Overwatch 2, they've killed it. But they're doing some single-player stuff in this Invasion update.
Oh, okay. So people got to buy this update to get that. Oh, okay, that's probably what it's about. Okay.
Whether you have to buy the update or not, that'd be fucked, but it wouldn't surprise me. Considering how piss poorly handled Overwatch 2 has been.
Yeah, I just sort of saw some headlines sort of implying that people had to buy, if they wanted some sort of story-based content, they had to buy something to get it. Whether it's this thing or something else, I don't know. But this is the Persona thing I was getting confused with earlier. Persona 5 Tactica.
Yes.
Coming out 2023, another one, Game Pass. So a lot of stuff going to Game Pass.
Cool.
Yeah, it does actually. I think I might actually look at that. I mean, as I said multiple times, the barrier for entry when things on Game Pass makes getting into new games, different types of games.
I thought you were going to say the barrier for entry with Persona is the 120 hours.
No, normally would be.
Because that's the barrier of entry for both that and the now Like a Dragon series.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But at least you've got the ability to get into these games relatively easily to see if there's something you're interested in. Then you can dive full in if you want to. Not saying they're going to do that here, but yeah, we'll see. They did a bit of a Starfield thing in here.
So hey, remember, the Starfield Direct is on after this.
I think I know why they did this, because not everyone's going to watch the Starfield Direct. I certainly wouldn't have any intention of watching the Starfield Direct, but they did this bit to show this is still coming for the mainstream watchers of this thing.
Yep.
People then drop out and watch, don't watch the direct of the full thing, so I can understand that. You mentioned earlier about Dodenod having a few games in this list. Here's another one of those. Is this Jusant? Have we decided how we pronounce this one yet? Jusant. I vaguely called
There's
this
a
one.
demo for this on Steam.
Oh, is it? Cool.
It's a climbing game.
Ah, that's this one, is it? Okay.
Yep.
Quite colourful though. Yeah, really. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I remember this one. Yeah, I've seen bits and pieces of this show. Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
what to think about this.
Yeah, it's interesting, but again, I'll highlight this bit. Makes it easier to jump in and have a look at it. So, sometime this year, apparently, all things being equal.
November.
They're saying autumn, so that's this weird, October, November, September, whatever. Still Wakes the Deep. Now, this is another one I think I thought this was actually pretty decent as well. But I'm also
It was a cool look, but it was only like a 30-second tease, so it didn't really show a great deal.
Yeah, it's one of those things where they did a fair bit in this thing. But they sort of tease into it's sort of survival horror, maybe, on some sort of abandoned oil rig of some description.
Yeah.
Yeah. Early 2024 for that one. And yeah, as I said,
from the Chinese room, so the developers of Everyone's Gone to the Rapture, Amnesia, A Machine for Pigs, and Dear Esther.
Okay. Interesting.
A studio that loves their first-person sort of adventure exploration stuff.
Yeah, and sort of walking simulators, for want of a way better term.
Yeah.
Another one for some reason decided that the trailers, the little thumbnails are going to appear. Don't know why.
Yep.
Dungeon of Hinterberg. This is another one that I think was pretty short on the announcement. Again, not particularly sure what you're doing it, but colourful. Looks really neat from a visual.
Look cool as shit, though.
Look cool as shit, but I'm not too sure again what you're doing in it per se. This is what you're talking about. Keanu Reeves took the stage to do the update for Phantom Liberty, update for Cyberpunk.
Idris Elba's in it.
Yeah, okay. Ooh, okay. Another trailer for City Skylines 2. This is also coming to Game Pass, console and PC, I think, or at least console. So that's good because I'm really into my bidding games, as we know. So I'm looking forward to that one.
Showed some gameplay.
Actually, showed some gameplay. Let's actually look at they've done. I've also followed quite a few YouTubers who do solely this game as their content. And they're also highlighting quite a few things that they're looking forward to in this game. So I think Paradox, I think it's what the Paradox Interactive
Yes.
make this one. They look like they might be onto something with this one as a worthwhile expansion or sequel to the first one. I have absolutely no idea what the next one is.
Basically, it's a new game from the development team behind Persona and Shin Megami Tensei. The hell of Japanese RPG.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
Just hell of JRPG.
Must admit, a lot of these announcements, a lot of these trailers are blurring into one where I've said, I remember that one. I remember watching a lot of this stuff, but not...
So Phil Spencer's come out and said they're actively working on and looking to try and get into even harder the Japanese market.
Oh, okay, yeah, fair enough.
And a game like this and a game like the Like a Dragon games are the way to do it.
Other way to do it, for sure. Yep.
Yeah.
We got another world premiere of Towerborn? Yeah, Towerborn. From the Banner Saga people, so some good...
I fucking remember what this game was.
Yeah, I remember they're a good developer, is what I'm getting at, but what this game is, I can't remember either. Quick look at the trailer on another screen here.
Okay, it's a co-op action adventure game. Yeah, okay.
Okay, don't remember that. Again, same thing I was saying before. I remember seeing a lot of these things in trailers, but I can't remember. I couldn't put a name to them until I see them.
Yeah.
I remember that one. That looks pretty cool. The next one I do remember, which is the game game from In Exile, who made Wasteland 3.
Wasteland 3.
Wasteland 3. They're now another Xbox studio, own studio. This is Clockwork Revolution. This has got hella Fallout, steampunk vibes. But it
It's got even more Bioshock Infinite vibes.
Bioshock Infinite. That's the game I meant to say. Sorry. This looks really, really
It's
cool.
cool as shit, though.
Cool as shit. Visually, it looks really, really cool. It's an early. Doesn't have a window yet, but it's going to be Game Pass because they're owned by Microsoft. But it does.
I like the release date thing at the end of that, where it's out in due time.
In due time, yeah. It's a very.
It's like, yep, well done.
Well done. Yeah. It's some sort of like the game has some sort of clock time bending mechanic in it. That's where the time sort of comes into it. But yeah, that was a bit of a surprise. I'm glad to see they've got a good game. Look like they've got In Exile, I was curious what their next game was going to be, whether it's going to be similar style to their previous games or whether it's going to be something new. But yeah, that's looking kind of neat. Next, we had a bit of a hardware announcement, which I don't think anybody really saw coming, but it's not a big thing. They have released, or going to release in September, a black version of the Series X, but it's got a bigger hard drive in it. Nothing else is different between what's there, so it's the same specs as the original Series S, but it's got a double the size of the hard drive to 1 terabyte rather than the 512. And I think it's roughly the same price if I recall, but don't quote me on that one because I haven't looked up any trading prices for that yet. And then obviously after that they jumped into the full-on Starfield Direct. After that, which went off another 40 odd minutes, I think if I recall from. And that seems to be getting some pretty positive buzz actually. That Starfield Direct, I think it's landed really well.
It looked fucking good.
Yeah, I've seen bits and pieces of it. I haven't gone and watched the full thing. But when you sort of see big directs like that on one game, generally speaking, in the past, the outcome, like the reaction to it, is massively negative because it's all something or not this or not what they're expecting, whatever. But that seems to have landed pretty well, that direct, I think.
The actual shooting looked really, really good.
Yeah, so hopefully.
The Series S. 1 terabyte carbon black, $549.99 in Australia.
And what do you get for
the Series?
Yeah, what do you get for the other standard?
$499.
Okay, so they've added $50 to it or something. 100. Was it $50?
But they're on. But you can get them for $400 right now from basically everywhere.
Yeah. Okay.
Big W, JB, Woolworths, apparently.
Okay.
They've got them on special for a bit of a discount.
Yeah.
So
okay.
$50 more.
Yep. Okay. So that's fair. That's probably from next double the drive space. That's a fairly reasonable markup, you could say, maybe. So what was your overall impressions of the Xbox showcase?
I think I need to get it up again because I had to close it because it wasn't loading for me. Where is the link? It is there. I think Starbound looks fucking cool. I'm actually sold on Starbound now. There is a part of me that's borderline terrified of Starbound because of they're talking like 1,000 planets. Oh shit.
Oh, Starfield. Yeah, Starbound, not Starbound. What's it called?
Starfield.
Yeah. Sorry.
Starbound is the one that's on the 2D one on PC. That's basically Space Terraria.
Yeah. So Starfield. Yeah.
Yeah, there was some like cool looking stuff, but nothing really Starfield really sort of made an impression.
Yeah, I think Starfield landed really well.
Yeah. But Dungeons of Hinterberg, I'm looking forward to.
Yep.
And Clockwork Revolution hopefully will be cool.
Yeah. Yep.
There were a couple things in here where I'm like, yeah, that's all right, but
yeah, I mean, there's a couple...
how much of it am I going to play? Not much.
Yeah, that's probably roughly the same for me. I mean, I was surprised and glad, surprised by the Sea of Thieves crossover with Monkey Island. I think that's got a lot of potential. Like you, I like what they're doing with Starfield. I like the setting of that South of Midnight. Again, no idea what you're doing in it, so
yeah.
If the game turns out to be a survival horror, I won't give a shit about it after that, but the setting has me intrigued, and I like the music in it, the music they did in it, and the visual too, like a claymation,
very Telltale-y,
like Telltale claymation kind of a thing to it. Looked really cool. Outside of that, though, it's much the same as you. Like Flight Simulator 2024. I'm surprised they're doing another one. I thought they just keep adding to the program they've already got, but
Yeah.
that's fine. I'll look at that as well. Um, uh,
I'll look at Avowed.
yeah, I'll look at about. I mean, I'll look at a lot of. I'll have a look at a lot of this stuff because it's on Game Pass. But to say there's something that wowed me, not really.
Yeah, no.
It was a solid showcase, but and it probably I think it, as I said earlier, with all the Fable ones and the Avowed ones, it's just we're still doing this. It's still coming. Don't worry, kind of a vibe to it. From my
Stop
perspective,
fucking asking us if it's still coming
yeah,
out.
yeah. Don't stop asking us. It's coming. It's probably going to be next year for a bunch of those things, but potentially. Um, so yeah,
There is one game out of that we haven't mentioned because we're going to talk about it more in a sec.
yeah, which is the Star Wars one you were getting. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, um, yeah. No, not the Star Wars. Still the Wake's Deep. I think that looks interesting. Yeah, that sort of survival horror game potential. I'm making the assumption that's what it is. Obviously, City Skylines was a known thing, but that's the fact it's coming to console at Game Pass is really cool.
I will be curious how that actually runs and plays. I mean, it's not like City Skylines isn't already on console.
Yeah, so they've proven they can do it with the interface, so it's not a thing. I think the thing that really separates, stating the obvious here, but separates the console version and the PC version is the modding you can do on the PC version. So if they can figure out a way to get some of that stuff into the console version, I think that would be quite impressive. Yeah, as you say, agree with the Clockwork Revolution. Looks really, really good. But yeah, Starfield is the other highlight from that. But yeah,
I'm so scared of Starfield.
oh yeah, Starfield's got the potential to just be an absolute time sink that you'll never get out of, sort of thing. So, alrighty. Next up is the Ubisoft one, which was on the day after Microsoft. I think it was on the Monday. So I'm going to use merge. There we go. So the big focus of this particular showcase was the Star Wars Outlaws, which is kind of it's a third person. Like I think this was the game that we were hoping that that 1313 game from that was sort of shown off 4 or 5 years ago and sort of disappeared after that and then got cancelled. I think it's probably what people thought that was going to be, if that kind of makes sense. This looks really quite good, but it's not Jedi focused. It's focused on this sort of what's I'm looking for? Like it's a
Scoundrel.
Scoundrel. Thank you. I was trying to think of the word. Thinking of Outlaws, what I think of first. But yes, it's got third person shooting. And it just does actually look kind of good. Good cutscene. Like it does look kind of good, but
I am hopeful.
I'm hopeful for it too. I think that's their outcome. That's the take from it. I think it's hopeful that it's going to work. It's going to be good. It's from Massive, the people who made the Division games, so they've got that pedigree behind them too. It looks to me as if this game is going to be slightly different than the previous Massive games, or at least compared to the Division games, in that your character is actually involved in the stories in terms of they actually have dialogue. Whereas in the previous games they didn't have that, so I think that it probably gives them as you say, hopeful that this will stick to landing because it's got a lot of promise to based on that 10-minute gameplay. In that,
I like Nyx.
You like what? Sorry.
Nyx, the little dog thing.
Oh, yeah.
That thing was cool.
If I'm trying to show, I can't show it to you in the bed. It's a little creature that's her offsider.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else do we have after that? So yeah, looking good. We've got a Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. Longish, bit over 6 minutes. Should have showcased trailer thing as well with a date. I think this looks kind of okay. I'm not saying I'm necessarily going to play it, but it looks kind of okay to me.
There's some Far Cry vibes, so I'm
Oh,
okay with that.
absolutely. That's what I was watching another video, and they basically described it as Far Cry cross with this, and I thought, okay,
Mm.
that I can see that has some appeal to it. Those two words.
I could give no fucks about Avatar, but
Oh yeah,
like,
the story and the setting. No, I don't give a shit either. No, 100%. Wait a second, I'm showing the wrong thing here. I need to show that. Um,
there we go.
um, yeah, Prince of Persia got a bit of a longer trailer in here, but we already sort of know that was from the first one. Mirage got I think a release date.
That looked cool. Yep.
I think a release date was announced in this showcase. This looks really good. This is kind of back to basics with our Assassin's Creed. So gone with all of the, my understanding, gone of all of the weapon upgrades and the gear numbers and all that kind of stuff that Origins and Odyssey did, and probably Valhalla did as well. I like those diversions, but I can see why people would want to go back to what they used to be. So
I liked Origins. I think Odyssey and Valhalla just got so fucking bloated and they moved so far away from the core hidden blade of Assassin's Creed.
Oh, absolutely. I 100% agree.
That's yeah.
Origin was that
I want to
too.
play Valhalla, but god damn it, I can't find the 100 and fucking how many hours it's going to take.
I actually don't want to play Valhalla because it just got too much. But I loved Origins, loved Odyssey, and yeah, looking forward to sort of going back to basics or back to original.
There was a cool mechanic in it where it's like almost like a mark and attack.
Yeah, like you sort of
You can mark like 3 dudes on this balcony, and then you hit the button, and he basically goes whack, whack, whack.
Yeah, you sort of just. I guess there's some sort of ability. I'm sure you upgrade to that at some point. We got a VR Assassin's Creed thing of something called Nexus. And then I think they sort of teased the next Assassin's Creed Assassins.
They talked about this last year.
Oh, that's that Jade one. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
It's in China, but it's on the phone.
That's the China one. Yep.
Okay. Purely because there's going to be another phone game coming up in a sec.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck is the obsession with trying to put these massive fucking console/PC experiences on a fucking phone? Who the hell is begging for this sort of experience on that sort of platform?
You're annoying the iPad. That's what they're for. The iPad is where they're also played.
Yeah, I don't know.
I agree. I think it's slightly odd that they're trying to put these like pretty substantial games onto what is a smaller, like not the best way to play those games in terms of a console and a controller and a big screen, but there's a billion of the fucking things out there, like billions, 2 billion, 3 billion. Yeah. There's the pure numbers is what they're trying to get their eyeballs onto. If they get 0.1% of all that, then they've made an absolute money. Make an absolute money.
I just feel like these aren't the sort of games that people are wanting to play on their phone.
The thing now you can with your yes and no, like you can now do the pairing of your controller with the phone now, so you're not actually playing it with the controller.
Oh yeah.
So you've got that stuff now. I think it's probably what they are targeting it, but I kind of agree with you. It does seem a bit odd that these sort of fairly big games are actually coming to those sort of devices. But the Crew Motorfest. This is Ubisoft's attempt or take on Horizon. With no Horizon this year, this might actually be okay. It looks halfway decent.
I've also heard some discussion of this actually being played, and it is a much tighter, much better feeling vehicle handling.
Okay, so not as arcadey as Horizon.
Not as loose and not as like there's a tightness to the Horizon games that really closely straddles that line between arcade and sim.
Yeah.
Whereas the Crew 2 is way too loose to pull that shit off. Not that it's arcadey or anything.
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel good. Whereas the feel on this apparently is much more improved.
Yeah. Okay. And I can always play a game with set in Hawaii, so I'll look at that one. That's coming out September 14th, which is not that far away, all things being equal. another Blood Dragon gets another comes back with this thing. I'll just say thing.
Yep, this thing is a good thing to good way to describe it. Fuck this.
So it's like it's
Hanime.
I'm not sure how it is, like anime Netflix thing. So yeah, X Defiant, which is a game they announced. Or late last year, I think it was.
I want to say I was thinking late last year.
Late last year, I think maybe even at Keeley's Game Awards, maybe not too sure.
Possibly.
It's getting an open beta in a couple of days when this goes up, and then some more later on. But it's a game I have no interest in playing. So
fuck! It's not even a weekend beta. It's a fucking middle of the week one.
Yeah, it's like a Wednesday to a Thursday or Tuesday to a Friday or something weird. Like I'm not sure.
Basically, Ubisoft's Call of Duty.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Skull and Bones are getting a closed beta in August. I have no idea.
This is the funniest fucking part of this whole show.
Yeah,
they got bizarre. This fucking acoustic country band. This dude like full blown beatboxing and it's like.
They came on stage and sang a shanty or something, didn't they? From rough recall as well. Very odd. Yeah, and then they've got
it was fucking shit.
Then they've got a beta coming out, or a closed beta coming out.
For a closed beta that runs for 3 days in August.
3 days in August, so no idea what that's going to really look like.
Stupid thing that was.
Yeah, very odd. Speaking
this is the other one.
This is the other one. Tom Clancy's Division Resurgence is coming to mobile devices. See previous discussion. I think that's probably why they're doing. This actually might be okay. Actually, this looks like this is basically Ubisoft on a console. On a iPhone, but probably a play okay on an iPad. We then get a sizzle reel with a bunch of stuff in it.
They're putting Jet Set Radio shit into Roller Champions.
Oh, okay.
And they're putting skating into Riders Republic, which that's kind of weird.
It kind of makes sense, I guess, in a way. I guess. So Anno 18 getting 725 views on PC and console. For Honor getting... Oh, God, they're still doing For Honor here? For Honor stuff? Wow, okay.
Yeah, For Honor's been kicking for a while.
Yeah,
and so is the Crew 2.
Year 7 content for that. Trackmania getting out on consoles and PC. Some more stuff for Mario and Rabbids cross stuff. Yeah, as you said, Master Chief going to... Oh, okay, Brawlhalla. Rocksmith getting a trial or something, free trial on Rocksmith. And that is that one. So I think there was probably kind of the... Other than this weird Skull and Bones winning out of nowhere, kind of one of the better ones, because we actually saw some fairly substantial, especially obviously with the Ubisoft, the Star Wars Outlaws, some decent gameplay sections. Yep. We still don't have a date for this yet, do we? This Star Wars game, do we? I assume it's
2024.
2024 at this stage, yeah. December 7th. I didn't realise that was a weird date. Okay, that's interesting. Okay. I'm looking forward to seeing what that game actually plays like.
Yes.
Because it does actually look like it might be okay. Visually, it certainly looks
like
okay.
If they basically just make this Far Cry but set in Avatar, then fine.
Yeah, that's how I have heard it described as well. So
yeah,
we'll.
But they tried doing too much to go, hey, the deep mythology, the lore, the story of Avatar.
Oh, that'll be in it because that's how they're going to make you why you want to play the game. But I wouldn't not play it because of that.
And then like the last thing they said was the Na'vi word for like good luck or something like that.
I don't mind the Avatar setting per se, but whether that can sustain a game, I don't know what you're going to be doing in it from doing it. But I think I thought it actually looked decent. But yeah, that is the 3 big ones. What is your thoughts on Ubisoft?
I thought Ubisoft was probably
even though it was,
Qualitatively, for what I want to play, is the
yeah,
best show.
yeah, for sure. I think it wasn't
Um,
as like it didn't have 20 things shown. It had 8 or
mm.
9 really solid ones, and obviously got some good gameplay looks at Star Wars Outlaws, the Avatar game we just talked about, and other bits and pieces. I think it was probably the best of the show, but then it's kind of a lowish thing to say in a weird way
The
because
bar's not
the
particularly high,
particularly high compared to the other ones. But um, yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one. Um,
but yeah,
anything from any other show that sort of took your eye or took your fancy?
not much that I didn't already know about. There were a couple things I put on to my wish list on Steam. There was one called there's a game called Sulfur,
Okay.
which is a first-person shooter, sort of low polygon look to it. That looked really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
A Metroidvania called Altered Alma.
Okay. Yep.
That looked alright. Parcel Core, which did show up in the PC gaming show, where there's like some bike tricks and shit being done while you're delivering these packages.
Oh yeah, yeah. Remember that one? Yeah, that actually does look actually.
Um,
That looks actually interesting. Yeah, you're right. Yep.
and I also added The Spirit of the Samurai, Mariachi Legends, and Mullet Mad Jack.
Okay.
Two sort of side-scrolly platformer action games, and then an old school first-person shooter style
Yep.
thing. But like the one thing I would have really liked to have gotten, because I know it was shown in one of the two shows, I just can't remember which, would be a date for SteamWorld Build.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly that. So yeah, sort of along the same lines. I was like with outside of the big three, you're looking at those other like the other showcases we're referring to are things like the Day of the Devs, the Volvo Directs thing. There's a new one, accessibility showcase, but I have not had a chance to look at yet. Wholesome Direct, they did one of those last year. Future Game Shows is PC based more than anything, and a dedicated PC gaming show. The PC gaming show had a couple of decent things in it. What I was really hoping for out across those other ones was some dates for some of the things that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
Steam Build was one of them. What I really wanted a date was for the Shadow Gambit, the next game from the the guys who made the Desperados. We've got a date for that, August 18th. Coming to consoles as well. There's a demo of that coming out in like 3 or 4 days because the team are doing their Next Fest. There's a demo in that, which I'll play that just to make sure it's what I think it will be, then never touch it after that. A couple of other dates we got for stuff, which I didn't see necessarily announced in things, but you can now. There's another game called, I don't know if you've seen it, but it's the Lamplighters League. Have you seen that?
Yes. Yeah, we talked about that.
Did we see that? Okay, that's got a date of August 4th now, for October 4th for its date.
Is that an early access date, or is that a out date?
I believe that's an out date. And that's XCOM, not XCOM. That's Mimi style.
No, that's XCOM.
XCOM style stuff, but it seems to have a really good sort of story vibe to it. Like it seems like it really kind of cool. There is.
Oh, Citizen Sleeper 2.
Oh yeah, okay, yep. The Invincible, which I think is another sort of
walking simulator style.
It's more than that, but yeah, that's the best way I can come up with it. That hasn't got a date, but they put out their demo for that one, which I've had a chance to play again. Which is I'm now looking forward to that one. But again, would have liked a date. The big one that sort of came out of him before this started was Broken Roads. You remember the Australian character RPG
sort of thing?
Yeah, that's got a demo on Steam.
Oh, okay.
Which is I haven't had a chance to go through that yet, but I've been waiting for that for 4 years now. I think it was a pre-pandemic game I saw at a PAX. So looking forward to that. But yeah, outside of that, Stormgate is looking good. From the people that Starcraft and Blizzard developers, looks kind of good. It got a good showing at the PC Gaming Showcase.
And that's where that host dude actually showed that he actually has that talent, because he was doing a little bit of commentary on that Stormgate footage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Just the rest of the time, he comes across like a mincing douchebag.
Yep, exactly. Dorf, with this all got D. Dorf is it's got
DRF.
DRF. It's got dots between them all. Another sort of old school throwback RTS game looks really kind of cool. You mentioned Sulphur, which I'd
the Precinct as well is one that looks pretty cool, which is like a sort of falls into the older Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto style.
Okay. Yep.
Semi top down sort of thing.
Was that in? Which one was that in?
Not the PC gaming show. That was the Future Game Showcase.
Oh, actually, I've not looked at that one yet. Okay.
And Lords of the Fallen is coming along fairly well from everything everyone's saying about it, which is the semi reboot, semi fucking sequel to the Souls-like that came out a few years back.
Yep. Just looking at.
I will tell you one thing: getting fucking surgery through your belly button, they're not particularly gentle down there.
Another game that's I'm actually looking forward to now. I played a demo of it. I've not spoken to you about this game, I don't believe yet. It's called Homeseek. It's another city builder, which actually has a lot of potential. I played a demo of it, and they've actually done some updates to the demo, I think. But that game's now got a date of 23rd of July, which is cool. What else? I'm just looking through the rest of this.
Yeah, there's It's weird actually, because like when I think about all of the big stuff that we were coming into this year looking forward to, most of it's already out.
Yeah, true.
Like, and some of it, like I've got and haven't played yet. So there's Zelda, I've got, haven't played it. RE4, got and haven't played it.
Yep.
Street Fighter 6, I've got and played about 11 hours, but haven't played anywhere near as much as I would like to have, obviously because of fucking like the additional physical element of stick-based video games based on what I've come off of.
Yep.
But like, I think about what's left for the rest of the year, and basically it's Starfield.
Yeah.
As that big thing that's coming out this year.
The big behemoth this year is Starfield for sure.
Well, I'm really looking forward to Remnant 2.
Yep.
Obviously, but whether you'd call that a big game is debatable.
Yeah. I think every year we do this, we have this discussion about the games this year. And yeah, you'll get your big tentpole items every couple of months. There's a big game that comes out like a Starfield. Most Starfield's probably even bigger than that, but it's the smaller stuff that really hits home, doesn't it? It's I'm really looking forward to SteamWorld Build. Hopefully we get a date for that at some point, and it's this year. Really looking forward to the Shadow game, but really looking forward to that game. And just things like the slightly smaller game is now where I'm focusing. Not focusing is not the right term, but that's where I'm actually looking forward to stuff the most. Because I just, not that they're necessarily taking risks that the bigger ones don't. It's just that the bigger games, bigger companies, almost kind of have to make big games, for the want of a better term.
Yeah.
Whereas they can't sort of break their teams down to smaller teams to make smaller games each and sort of get stuff like that out. So I don't know if that's really makes sense.
There are a couple of games that showed up at last year's Microsoft one that didn't show up this year, like Stalker 2. Given everything in Ukraine, doesn't surprise me that that's not shown up anywhere, but still a bit of a bummer.
Yep.
Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn, that's been delayed through to next year.
Oh, okay, yep.
That literally happened, I think, in the last day or two. Replaced. I think that was one I was really looking forward to, and Ereban's Shadow Legacy. I don't know, but yeah, there are a few things that didn't really get sort of shown. Like, IGN's got an article of stuff that didn't show up.
Just Microsoft stuff, or just across the board?
Microsoft.
Okay.
I'll put that into Slack for you. so you can see that.
Mm-hmm.
So machine games, just machine
No,
games.
The Indiana Jones game, yeah, for sure.
The Indiana Jones stuff, State of Decay 3, Outer Worlds 2, Perfect Dark, Everwild, and Contraband. Which, you know, I wanted to see more Wolfenstein, god damn it! But, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it would have been nice to have seen something from these games, but they're not that old in terms of their announcement.
Yeah.
They're all 2021 sort of games, but as you said earlier, the pandemic has made 2021, even though it was 3 years ago or 2 years ago now, seem like it was, it was only really 6 months ago. Kind of like that's just, I don't think that, I wouldn't necessarily, I don't think they're being, they haven't been canned, I think is the upshot of what I'm getting at, but not a surprise. But we've got Tokyo Game Show later this year. Not Tokyo Show, Gamescom later this year. Tokyo Game Show potentially. Keeley's. We've got other things where these games could potentially get a Guernsey, and then maybe out early next year as well. Or we actually get dates for some that we saw today that have got, we've talked about today, that have, got early 2024 dates in, and we actually get dates later in the year. So, yeah.
I'm thinking like Disney Illusion Island, that Mickey Mouse platformer on the Switch.
Oh, yeah. That
would have been great to see some of that. That's coming out end of July.
Well, it didn't have a Nintendo Direct, did we? They haven't announced one either, so, yeah.
Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, Blasphemous 2. But yeah. I'm very curious what the year ends up looking like once Starfield comes out, or if everyone just says, fuck this. At least from the big games.
The big games, yeah.
Although, like, literally a month later, Mirage, Assassin's Creed, and Alan Wake 2 are out.
Yeah, so we've still got big games this year. Like yeah, obviously Diablo 4 has just come out, but we've got, as you said, let's just quickly, now we've actually had these series of shows come out. You've got
October's looking fucked.
Yes, September's got Starfield on the 6th. Doesn't matter the games, just games we talked about in this session. The Crew Motorfest is on the 14th. Lies of P is on the 19th. Mortal Kombat 1's on the 19th as well. 19th. Payday 3's on the 21st.
That's pretty much it for September.
Pretty much it for September. October you got Motorsport on the 10th. Mirage on the 12th. Lords of Fallen on the 13th. Alan Wake on the 17th. Spider-Man 2 on the 20th. Skylines 2 on the 24th. So that's pretty packed week. Some big games in there, obviously, from big developers. November's got bugger all in it. And yeah, we've obviously got that late in the year release date for Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora. So, and August is probably pretty light on too.
From a big releases, yes. From a lack of better term, an indie releases, no.
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. You've got Shadow Gambit on the 17th. I'm looking forward to that. Baldur's Gate 3, not so I'm looking forward to that. That's a biggish game that's getting lots of coverage.
Atlas Fallen has looked really good from what's been shown of it.
Yep.
WrestleQuest.
Armored Core 6 is getting some interesting coverage of late.
I love how people were expecting that to basically be Robot Dark Souls.
Yeah.
But when people have looked at it, it's like, yo, it's just a fucking Armored Core game.
Yeah. Funny that, because it's got Armored Core in the name.
It's like, weird. I wonder what you were expecting.
Yeah.
But yeah, Blasphemous 2 and Bomb Rush Cyberpunk are both out in August as well, which I'm looking forward to them. So there's at least a game or two every 2 weeks.
Yeah, like
in the next couple of months.
There's decent stuff every couple of weeks for most of the rest of the year. Even July's got some stuff in it. Like I'm not saying you're going to necessarily get into it when it comes out, but Exoprime was out on the 14th.
Oxenfree 2, which
Oxenfree 2
there's some people who really like Oxenfree.
Yep. That Immortals of Avian game has got a date in the July the 20th. Remnant on the 25th. One I've got day before that, or a couple of days before that, Pikmin 4 on the Switch. They have to remedies Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart on PC. That's a pretty biggish thing. Not that I'm going to play it, but F1 Manager 2023 later in the year, later in that month.
Disney Illusion Island is one I'm really looking forward to there as well, which is on the 28th.
Oh yeah, yep.
That's the Mickey Mouse platformer.
Yep. So
yeah, there's stuff coming.
There's stuff coming. So I think it's still going to be the year has a potential to be quite good, I think. But I really would like to have seen a date for SteamWorld Build. That's probably the one thing I'm sort of quote-unquote disappointed out of all the shows, is that we did get a date for that. So, yeah, other than that...
I feel like Microsoft probably could have gone bigger, but with what, I can't tell you.
That's exactly the point. Yeah, like what could they have done to stand out a bit more than what they did? But
because enough people are like, "Yo, Microsoft."
Yeah, I mean,
it's dumb. But
I think when they're, I've been saying this for quite a few years now. They're playing a completely different game to everybody else. So it's because of what they've.
Oh, Helldivers 2 was Sony, wasn't it?
I believe so. Yes.
Yes. I was wondering why we hadn't talked about that yet.
Let's just. So. Yeah. So.
I don't know why. I just had the American national anthem pop into my head.
Okay.
Fucking Plucky Squire. Give me Plucky Squire.
Yes. Yes.
Give me Plucky Squire. Give me Angerfoot. Motherfuckers. God damn it. Fuck you, Devolver. Pricks. Capcom announced they were delaying Pragmata to 2024 as well in their showcase.
Okay. Yep.
But yeah. There's stuff.
There's stuff. I mean, like going back to the Sony one, we've got the Talos Principle 2 coming out sometime this year. Looking forward to that. As you mentioned earlier, the Helldivers coming out 2023. No confirmed date, but that's the one so far. What else highlights here? Just remind myself.
Space Marine 2.
Cat Quest is looking good.
Oh, Cat Quest is next year.
Was that next year? Is it? Oh, bugger. I thought it was next year.
Yeah, it's 2024.
Damn it. Okay. Plucky Squire, as you say, that looks really good. That's for this year. Teardown coming to consoles, and they announced some sort of creative mode, I think, in one of these shows last week.
It's out now.
It's out now, is it? Okay, fair enough. Obviously, Alan Wake, we talked about Mirage.
But yeah.
Yeah, so I think there's some decent stuff coming out for the rest of the year. I think we're not going to be short of stuff to play, that's for sure.
I've got Street Fighter.
I've got Diablo 4. I've got Diablo 4 and a bunch
and
of
I've got Diablo 4 too.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Anything you want to wrap up with in the beginning of the end?
To answer your question, not really.
Not really? Okay. I guess there's no much listen to anything like that. You haven't had a chance to listen to anything.
No, I had plenty of opportunity to just sit and listen to shit and stare at a fucking ceiling. But no.
We will get to doing some video stuff next weekend. I'm guessing there's probably going to be quite a few demos in that because there'll be some demos out to look at. So we'll put in some videos next week. We'll put out some videos over from next weekend onwards for stuff we do. You'll get back to your Friday night fighting stuff once you've gone the mend. But other than that, I think we could probably wrap this show up.
I reckon we could.
Alrighty. That was the non-E3 review special for 2023, coming on the 19th of June. Thank you for your time, Steve, and hopefully you'll get your appendix, well, obviously appendix out, but hopefully you'll recover from that well and easy.
I was like, wait, where are you going with that? Hopefully you get your appendix back? Yeah, I'll fucking frame it and put it on the wall.
Well, a friend of mine years ago when he got his taken out, actually put it in a little jar and kept it. So people do that, apparently.
I didn't get that luxury.
Didn't get that choice? Oh, okay. Anyway, hopefully you recover from your surgery from this week.
My hospital adventures.
Hospital adventures. And we will see you all next week for regular video stuff, and the week after that for a podcast. Till then, bye. Use the outro one. Ah, there it is.
Smooth.
Hey, I've got the right one this time.
Fucking A.